The world is entering a giant recessionary cycle. One after another, nations are plunging into the deep waters of the economic cycle. Citizens are being affected in many ways. And this fallout would be great for crypto and precisely for XRP based on the technology it offers. The history of crypto shows it is getting attention, but the star or gold of crypto, the XRP, is a man of the match for the next market cycle. To stand out without drowning, banks need digital assets. Instead of holding depreciating fiat currencies, banks are going to offer crypto service to its customers. Being custodian of digital assets is what they are eyeing at. And at the end of the tunnel, now they can see a light. Now for XRP holders, there is a news which is popping out like showing a central bank digital currency can be issued using a new blockchain, and that's talking about Apollo FinTech. They are working with central banks to provide or to help central banks to issue central bank digital currencies. Now that can be a concern for XRP holders to know what it is and how it goes, and we have to actually go through that research background and understand what it is. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. If you saw value in the content, do support the channel, hit that like button. And if you would like to extend your support, you can use the links in the description for Patreon and PayPal. If you go into that Patreon link, you will understand one thing: you can access more value, more research through that. Now it depends. If you just want to support the channel, you can choose any of the options. That doesn't actually matter. So jumping back into the topic, we can actually understand one by one nations are entering into recessions, and we can see that the longest expansion is coming to an end. And at this time, banks, governments and others are really frustrated. They want to keep this cycle going in one way or the other. They are trying to print as much as currency as possible. And automatically, we all know one thing is for sure: if they are doing this, automatically, as we saw previously in, say, the history, Germany had the Nazis had the issue by printing a lot of currencies. The currency was depreciated, and once the currency is being depreciated, that inflation kicks in, the economy falls, there is nothing left in an economy to continue more, and that is the reason why digital assets are being concentrated. Now in this particular diagram, you can actually see the star of XRP is here. They are showing it here, right? And then the introduction of Ethereum. So one by one, as we moved from that particular point towards this particular point here, there are a lot of projects which are coming in, and these are adding value to the financial system. Now XRP is actually different from Bitcoin, Zcash and others, as we know. And now we are also seeing competitors coming out for XRP as well. Now this particular one, we are saying competitors only because it has some connections to central banks, and they are working on projects using which central banks can issue central bank digital currency. Now at the same time, what I would like to highlight is it will include features such as SMS, QR codes, cards, offline codes on a mobile application, blah blah blah. All the other central bank digital currency needs will be fulfilled using this one. So that's how to transact a central bank digital currency towards merchants and all. But if you consider this, that will also be a walled garden. Now yes, we will need to do detailed research because I only got this particular article as of now. I was going through the preparing today's evening video, and I got this from Michael. So Michael sent me this, and I will need to do the background research and present this information, comparing what Apollo FinTech is doing and what XRP is doing, and how they if they are competing, how they are competing, and who is in the front. So I'll actually do that background research and present that in the next video. Now moving on with the video here. In this particular article, which talks like OCC leans forward on fintech and digital assets, here in the bottom we can understand that the OCC published interpretive letter previously, which kind of highlights that providing cryptocurrency custody service, including holding the unique cryptographic keys, like that means they will they will be the custodians of your asset, right? So currently what does the bank do? They hold fiat. But at the same time, you have to understand, when you go there and take a loan, that's when the actual fiat currency is created. But for cryptocurrency, it's not like that. It's already there. If you look at BTC and all, okay, there is mining and it kind of works in that way. If you are looking at XRP, XLM and all, that those currencies are pre-mined, so there is no mining. You can't actually print more of them, so this will not happen with the fiat currencies, right? So automatically, when we understand that, they have to come into a new payment system, and that should be interoperable. Now, this particular article shows BitPay expands integration with Coinbase to enable instant no fee blockchain payment. So keeping this in mind, if banks are coming in, they are giving you an opportunity to hold your asset, a custodian. They won't just be a custodian for that, right? Because if they say, like, for example, they are going to put you a 1%, 2% fee for taking out that custody service, providing you that custody service, you don't need them. You can directly go use a Ledger Nano, right? It's up to you why you need them taking out more. So if it is kind of a competitive rate, say 0.5% or even low, then it should be okay. But that being said, if we are looking at institutions, huge buyers, they will be actually okay with banks holding their assets. At the same time, if they are moving their payment from one wallet to another wallet, one ledger to another ledger, they can't cut the throat of our retail customers taking out fee. As of now, we can see in the new blockchain systems, they offer no fee payments. So how will the MoneyGrams, Western Union and others respond to this one? Automatically, we know that MoneyGram is partnered with Ripple and they can give these kind of services. But if we are looking at traditional institutions which are working already on the legacy systems, it will be hard for them, considering the Nostro, Vostro and all the other things, dormant capital, all of their funding needs has to be met if they are not using the on-demand liquidity in that manner. But when we say that, we can also understand that banks are leaning in. So Swiss Bank wades into crypto. Now, this is kind of something similar to what our US government is coming out and stating. Regulatory clarity is being provided. If you want to provide your customers with more crypto related service, you can do that. Now, we will launch an offering for trading and custody of digital assets. So this one is a bit different, right? They're providing custody service as well as trading. So when you trade an asset, you know that there is spread, right? So when you buy and sell, there is a difference. So they can make more money out of that. So currently you're doing that on Binance, Coinbase, Uphold and other exchanges like that. If banks are coming in and offering you these kind of service, then automatically whatever fees are being charged by the exchanges, there will be a competition between them and they will have to reduce. Now that is a new financial system, right? They're competing there for new customers and to make profit out of that. It is the first state-backed lender to tiptoe into cryptocurrency territory. So they are tipping their toe into this one, which is cryptocurrency. If you were here 2 years back, 3 years back, majority were saying it's a scam and it's going to go away. Now, based on all of these updates, we can understand it's not going to go away. And those guys like us who have been here, who are accumulating during this market cycle, will be having that profit in this by the end of this market cycle. Swiss private bank Merrick Baumann is ready for the crypto license, right? They are ready with the crypto license to provide the crypto custody and trading. Now, Swiss private bank Merrick Baumann and Co. specializes primarily in asset management, but has been offering business accounts for blockchain companies. So when they are going to provide this crypto services, they are going to provide it including XRP. Now, yes, when they look, they will not be just looking at XRP. Instead of, they will be looking at least top 5, top 10 cryptocurrencies or most traded cryptocurrencies. Now, just looking at XRP, one of the analysts is kind of stating it's gonna go way much high. So XRP could be on its way to start a moon mission. Now, that being said, it's not like it's gonna go towards 0.9 just in 2 days. It can happen, but based on our chart analysis which we did previously, the chances for that looks bleak. We are still running in that pattern. I'll just show you the pattern. If you remember, we actually showed you this particular pattern in last 2 videos, right? We understood that the price is following this particular pattern. I know different guys show you different charts, but if you were watching this video previously, you can understand one thing. I showed you this 2 days back, and if you look at 4-hour chart, 12-hour chart, it's up to you. You can understand the price is following the same path. And those guys who doesn't believe in TA, I don't know what to say to them, but if these support resistant trend lines are not valid, as you say, like TA is not valid, then why is the price fluctuating in between them? Because that is the short term trend and it is following that trend. We can just see the price, what the price did. It reached down here. And then it is being bounced to the upside. Now yes, it can come back down, retest that level again, right? So this is a 4-hour chart. Now if we move on to a daily chart, we can still see that we are making a flag in which currently we are leaning towards the 20-day moving average, and the 20-day moving average is kind of supporting the price. And at the same time, RSI is taking a breather. If you look here, we went to the top, came back down and then popped to the upside, right? So similar thing can happen. Why? Because we came out of the long-term resistance line. Now there is a probability that we may go back and retest that long-term resistance trend line. Now, zooming in, this is clear. We came back, we tested that area. If we are bouncing from here, that is what we always look, right? A green shaped bullish candle broke above the resistance line, then we came back, retested that area, and when it is bouncing, the smart money just enters there. Now back into the fundamental side of this one. So jumping back, we can actually see Ripple trading experts are excited. Here is why you should be. Now in this one they actually give you an idea of what Ripple is, what blockchain is. They give a lot of different fundamentals for this particular assets. One, Bank of England, the proof of concept and the test with them. We went through that document, right? The document itself states how important Ripple and XRP is for them, and the documents which we went through in the last couple of weeks, we understood that the fundamental of Ripple, the company, and XRP, the asset, is like uncompetable for other project which we know. Now yes, we just saw about Apollo, which is working with central banks. We'll have to go cross compare them in the next video. Now, work on the Ripple payment protocol first started back in 2004, but years after it changed the name, blah blah blah. That's kind of the history. And when we look at their partners, we have giant names there. And the Ripple Labs, which is being partnered with R3 and Coda, now uses XRP as a settlement mechanism. Now that is just the fundamentals for the basic background fundamentals for that company. Now when you move down, they kind of compare it with directly with BTC. Now we can say, even though BTC was intended for peer-to-peer payment purpose, it doesn't actually fit well in that particular arena. Instead, it is being considered as a store of value asset. Now if it is true, it can hold on and it may move. Now we are not saying it's still the Silk Road initiative, because most of the exchanges who trades Bitcoin are becoming regulated. So the anti-money laundering and other stuffs will be enabled. But at the same time, when we say that, think this right now, at this very second, your favorite, which is the Bitcoin, I'm not talking about the XRP holders, I'm talking about the BTC maxis, uses XRP without even knowing it. Now that is kind of true. Why? When the network get congested, they can't move their funds. It will take 2-3 days, 3 days, or the charges go sky high. So they need a system which is scalable to do that. Ether does that. They send their money via XRP ledger. Now BTC does that. Now when these assets are being traded from these banks, and these banks are already partnered with Ripple, then this kind of statement from David kind of makes complete sense for me. Now this is the article which I just showed you in this one, which is being sent to me by Michael. So what do you guys actually think about this? Have you heard it before? For me, I heard it once, but I was not so much interested in that. Watching, the target market were for banks and central banks, but it was not that deep into those relationships at that particular time. Now when we concentrate on Apollo FinTech and look at what they are doing and their partners, we can see some giant names there, including Yahoo, Reuters, Nasdaq, Forbes, and all. And if we check on to the further information, we can understand what they are doing and how they are actually implementing. Now building the future, they talk, right? So when we understand that thing, they are looking at the national currency system, how it can be implemented through the central bank system. They are looking at issuing the central bank digital currencies and how it can be used. So when they talk about their own currency, which is the Apollo currency, they are arguing that it is scalable to the extent that entire economy can run through that. So the problem is it requires the use of multiple cryptocurrencies to perform a number of tasks on a blockchain, and transaction can take significant amount of time. Now, that doesn't actually fits well for every digital assets. Apollo currency boasts the fastest and most feature rich blockchain in cryptocurrency. Now, when they say that, what they are highlighting is they are showing sub seconds to 2 seconds per transaction. Now, if that is true, then yes, there is a huge competition for XRP being 3 to 4 seconds, right? But when they are highlighting, they are pointing towards the central bank digital currency side. Banks are also interested in this particular arena. If they are just going for the wholesale digital currency, that is a different story. If we are looking at a synthetic digital currency, then again that's a different story. If they are looking at retail, again that's a different one. Now we'll have to actually go through the entire system and understand what they are providing for the governments, what they are providing for the commercials, and how the consumers will be affected by this. Now, at the top, if we actually look at the products for them one by one, say just jump into the national currency system, what we can see here is that they are looking at facilities the sending receiving of a national country's national currency on an incorruptible ledger without the security, uptime, and transparency issues of a centralized system. So it is a decentralized platform where you can't manipulate the system, right? So this is what they are highlighting, with the benefit of all of this, no cost to government to run. So synthetic central bank digital currency, we can kind of compare with this one. But don't worry, we'll actually go through the difference and the partnerships and whatever we can find based on different research documents. So guys, that's all for today. That's a short episode. I was a bit busy. Now this is kind of SI family talk itself. I just wanted to highlight why I couldn't actually post a video in the morning and why I'm late. I know number of viewers will be so low for this particular video, but I actually created or researched the documents for this particular video in the morning, but I couldn't actually record the video itself. I had to actually visit in embassy. There was some personal stuff to do, so it took more time than I imagined. So sorry for that. Now, hope you guys received value for your time. If so, please do hit that like button. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.